Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to a Severin sale pickup video. I don't do these very often, but I picked up two items in the Severin sale that happened recently. So I'm just going to go through what I ordered. But first of all, I got a nice Severin sticker, and I got some other stickers that will probably give you a clue to what one of the box sets are. It's a bit of a giveaway, as is that. Of course. This is a box set I've had my eye on for a while. I actually thought it was a lot larger in real life. I don't know whether maybe the first pressing was a lot larger, but I was actually surprised at how small and compact this is. It was finally down to a reasonable price for me to pick it up. Again, you can tell me if the kind of, when it was first released, it was a lot bigger. This is the All Haunts Be Ours. This is a compendium of folk horror. It is rather nice with gold. And this is a little window, which is a nice touch. So this has 12 Blu-rays, 3 CDs, 20 films, plus 15 hours of special features and more. So as I say, this has been out for a while, but it's been far too expensive to pick up. But this was at a price that I couldn't really help myself. Obviously I have a few of these films in other formats, well 2 or 3 out of the 20, so I'm not doubling up too much. This has the documentary Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, which you can buy on a separate Severin release. So the 3 CDs are the soundtrack to that, and then there's 2 CDs, which is a reading of the classic short story The White People by actress Linda Hayden, with a new score by composer Timothy Fife. So that's what the soundtracks are. The box is as sturdy as you could imagine, and as I said, there's a little hole in it, so that's a nice touch. But again, lovely solid box. And here's the book, which is 156 pages. So it's a good old glossy book, which does give you basically the history of kind of the folk horror. So a lot of these films are European, which means they must be good. And there's lots of myths about different parts of the world. So it's not just all English films or all American films. There's a good mix. And then we have the disc holder, which is just, it's a bit like the Batman animated TV show. So the discs are just in cards. So disc 1 is The Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, a history of folk horror. This has got a video introduction by the writer, director, producer Kierlan Janice. Animating folk horror, a conversation with Ashley Thorpe. There's outtakes from the film. Disc 2 is Eyes of Fire. And again, each have their own little description. There's lots of extras from commentaries. There's alternate cuts. The short films. I mean, it's absolutely stacked. Disc 3 is Lepterica. I'm probably going to pronounce a lot of these films incorrectly. I think this one might be Polish. We've got Witch Hammer, which is available on second run. And of course Vi, which I have on an individual release by Severin and the Eureka. So I'll have Vi for the third time. But again, it's got some short films. I think it's got From the Woods to the Cosmos, which is a history of Soviet fantasy and sci-fi. I think that's on both the Severin and Eureka release, I'm sure. Disc 5 is Lake of the Dead, which is a commentary by Jonathan Rigby and Kevin Lyons. It's also got Tilbury, which has a commentary and interviews. Disc 6 is The Dreaming, which has a commentary by the director, and Kadakcha, which has a commentary and interviews and behind the scenes. So it is stuffed. It's stuffed with things. We have Celia, which is the wonderful Australian film. So we've got an interview with director Anne Turner. From the Crawfords to Celia, interview with veteran editor Gonzalo's, and The Rabbit in Australia. Celia is also available in second run, which I have that edition of. I did a random review probably last year on it. We've got Alison's Birthday as well, which has extended interviews. Then we've got Wilchicha, again brutally pronounced by myself, Unleashing the She-Wolf, which has an interview with the director. We've got Loki's, a manuscript of Professor Wittenbach, The Wild Country of the Werebear. So no idea what that film's about. And then we have Clear Cut with the wonderful Graham Greene, and again I think that's in an individual Severin release as well. There he is, the wonderful Graham Greene. So in this we've got a video introduction, we've got commentaries, we've got audio interviews, we've got an interview with Graham Greene, and we've got short films. So also this is the Native American entry. We've got Il Demonio, or Demonio even, which is a commentary with Kat Hellinger. We've got Dark Waters, so I think two of these are maybe Italian, I could be wrong. Then we've got A Field in England, Ben Wheatley's film, which I've never actually seen yet. So that will give me an excuse to watch it. Then Anchoress. Then we have Penda's Fen, which I've got in the Alan Clark box set, and we've got Robin Redbreast as well. And then disc 13, 14 and 15 are the CDs, so it's the soundtrack to the documentary, and as I said, it's the 2-disc reading of the short story The White People, read by Linda Hayden. So a fascinating box set. I'm looking forward to diving into it. I'll probably be diving into that quite quickly, I think. Again, it's an absolutely lovely box set. Thought it was about 3 times the size every time I saw pictures of it, but it's actually a really nice size. And as I said, because Severin were doing almost half price sale on their box sets, I kind of decided to pick it up. So looking forward to checking those ones out. Now the other box set I bought is a relatively new release but again, there was some money off it. And seeing I've got the two Christopher Lee sets by Severin, I couldn't resist the Cushing Curiosities, with, of course, Peter Cushing. So this is a 6-disc and book set, and again it has this lovely gold look to it. So this has a bunch of oddities, shall we say. So we'll dig into this one. First of all, very much like volume 2 of the Christopher Lee, this has a beautiful, again with the gold, a beautiful book. Peter Cushing, A Portrait in 6 Sketches, written by Jonathan Rigby, who did the same for Christopher Lee. And this is an absolutely beautiful book. I think this one's 200 pages. Again, with posters and obviously writing by Jonathan Rigby. His Euro-Gothic and British Gothic books are wonderful. So that book is absolutely gorgeous, let alone the films, but the book is absolutely wonderful. We have Cone of Silence, which is from 1960, in which Peter Cushing actually plays a villain. Can you believe it? So I think 4 of these are region A and 2 of them are multi-region. This is an example of one of the multi-region discs. This has an interview with Michael Craig. There's a newsreel of Peter Cushing and his miniature soldiers. And there's a whole bunch of audio interviews, including a Guardian interview with Peter Cushing. This actually co-stars George Sanders, Michael Craig, Andre Morel, Bernard Lee. I mean, there's actually 3 hours of extras on this one. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Then we have the double bill of Suspect, which is available on Network Blu-ray. It's a lovely little film. And The Man Who Finally Died. So Suspect has a commentary by Jonathan Rigby and Kevin Lyons, and The Man Who Finally Died has a commentary by Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw. So wonderful commentaries. And certainly Suspect is a lovely little film about a group of researchers, but one of them's been selling secrets. It co-stars Donald Pleasance and Ian Bannon. I mean, it's wonderful stuff. Then The Man Who Finally Died sees Cushing in one of his most sinister roles as the family friend of a jazz pianist played by Stanley Baker. Stanley Baker, I'm sure, is very believable as a jazz pianist, who uncovers a post-war conspiracy of suspicious deaths, switched identities, and a shocking Nazi past. Mai Zetterling and Nigel Green. Well, Nigel Green's in it, fantastic. Directed by Quentin Lawrence, and that's a 2K scan. So that's another fun-filled disc. And then hilariously, it's got all the surviving episodes of Peter Cushing and Sherlock Holmes on the BBC, which I actually recently picked up on DVD, so I'll now have them in high definition. So this has The Hound of the Baskervilles, A Study in Scarlet, The Blue Carbuncle, it sounds painful, The Boscombe Valley Mystery and The Sign of Four, and they're now restored from the BBC tape Protection Masters. And one quote here says, "Cushing is delightfully cocky." There's fun in each episode watching him and Nigel Stock bring Holmes and Watson to life. So that's 308 minutes. And again, all episodes have a Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw commentary. All episodes available with the BBC countdown clock. and there's illustrated Peter Cushing audio interview, and there's a missing episode clips with Jonathan Rigby doing a commentary. So they're actually spread over 2 discs. So looking forward to watching them again, because they're a lot of fun. And then the last 2 films certainly sound interesting and odd. We've got Patrick McNee and Peter Cushing in Bloodsuckers. Now apparently this was misunderstood when it first came out, but this is now the world premiere of the restored extended edition. So this is now 83 minutes long, so no idea what the original cut of this was. This is from 1971. This is a commentary by Jonathan Rigby and Kevin Lyons. At least they were getting busy. It's even got a short film, Stranger in the City, from 1961. There's an interview with the director, and there's essays about the film, and there's a nice interview with uncredited drug orgy actress Francois Pascal. It's perhaps the most maligned and misunderstood horror film of Peter Cushing's career. This notorious 1971 shocker can now be re-evaluated via the longest version ever assembled. When a brilliant young Oxford professor disappears while researching Greece, his mentor, Cushing, launches an investigation that will trigger a nightmare of ritual sacrifice, sadomasochistic perversion, deranged academia, and one of the most unique takes on vampirism in genre history. Patrick McNee, Edward Woodward is in it. Blimey. Directed by Robert Hartford Davis, who did Corruption with Peter Cushing, which I have to say isn't that good. Originally known as Incense for the Damned and Freedom Seeker. 2 strangely opposite titles. Now scanned in 2K from the original negative with additional elements from a recently discovered 35mm vault print, including the uncut psychedelic orgy sequence for the first time ever. I mean, how can you not resist that? And then finally, Tender Dracula, where Peter Cushing actually plays a vampire. Not sure what's going on here. All manners of malfeasance. This is a world premiere of the director's cut. This is from 1974. This has a commentary by Jonathan Rigby and Kevin Lyons, so they were definitely kept busy. Love Me Tender Dracula interview with the director, and an interview with one of the actors as well. This is, quote, wacky and bizarre and strangely fascinating. Never before available on disc in North America, the first and only film in which Peter Cushing portrayed a vampire, is also the most unapologetically bizarre movie of his entire career. When horror's biggest star, Cushing, announces his retirement from the genre, 2 dim-wit screenwriters and a pair of sexy actresses are dispatched to the actor's castle for a lavish farce de horreur erotique of violence, whippings, orgies, tender romance, and a devilishly dignified performance by Cushing, even while spanking the bare bottom of French starlet Meow Meow, not Meow Meow. Alida Valle's in it, amongst others. Now restored by Pathé, scanned in 2K from the original negative and authorised by the director. So that sounds fascinating as well. So again, as I said, I couldn't resist this set, and look at that book. I mean, that book is almost worth the price of admission by itself, because the version of that in the second Christopher Lee volume is absolutely wonderful, by Jonathan Rigby. So that's the Peter Cushing set. I don't know whether there'll be another one. I mean, this isn't volume 1, this is just Cushing Curiosities. But so happy to have it, because I'm assuming that will disappear quite quickly as well, even though I think you can get both Christopher Lee copies. So as I said, 4 of the films are region A and the other 2 are multi-region. So that's just, I thought, because they're a little bit off the beaten path from what I usually show on the channel, I thought I would just let you see my 2 Severin purchases from their recent box set sale, and hopefully you might see a few of these films popping up in random reviews. So thanks so much for watching. Please let me know if you've seen any of those Peter Cushing films and what you think of them, and hopefully you'll join me again for more videos of one kind or another. This is Soldier Ronan from Soldier Ronan Films, saying farewell.